Hi everyone, welcome back to the Hot Cars channel. My name is Amanda Klein, and this week we have the 2025 Acura ADX A-Spec with Advance. If you ask me what kind of vibes the ADX is giving off, on the interior, it's kind of giving me old school vibes. It's got a button and a switch and a dial for everything, which I love. But on the exterior, and when it comes to safety systems, it has all of the modern amenities and features that you might want. The ADX starts at around $35,000 for the front wheel drive entry-level version this year, but since we have the top trim level and all-wheel drive, it starts at around $44,000. This is going to be the entry-level SUV for Acura this year, but what do you get for that $44,000? Let me show you. The ADX is going to get a 1.5 liter inline-4 engine that's only going to give you around 190 horsepower and 179 pound-feet of torque. It's not the fastest thing on the planet, and when paired with the CVT transmission, it kind of goes when you're stepping on it. But it's not bad, and if you have the all-wheel drive version, you're going to get around 27 miles per gallon combined. If you have the front-wheel drive version, you get around 28 miles per gallon combined, which isn't so bad. There's no hybrid option, but for what it is, I think that it gets the job done and it gets pretty good fuel economy, so I'm not mad about it. We have some 19-inch wheels that are wrapped in all-season tires, and I think that this black color looks really nice with some of the other black accents and our gray exterior color. Plus, we're going to get 12-inch brakes in the front and 12-inch brakes in the rear. And also, we have some power heated folding mirrors, which are always nice to have. Now, we do have one other feature that is always nice for the summer, and I hope that it turns on this time. We have remote start, and it actually does a really good job of cooling down the cabin. Some of them just kind of start the air conditioner running, but this one actually did a great job of cooling down the cabin and getting us ready for our next drive. On the front end of the ADX, we do have some LED DRLs and headlights and fog lights. And like I mentioned, I think that the exterior is really giving off modern vibes. I love the grille, the big logo really works, and I just think the front end and the whole exterior of the ADX looks great. I mentioned that I think the ADX interior is a little bit old school, but it's kind of got the best of both worlds. You have buttons and knobs and dials for everything. On the steering wheel, you have real buttons. You even have a real door handle over here, which is sometimes missing on new cars. All of your drive mode buttons are here, and most importantly, your climate controls. Everything has a real button and a real knob that's going to be able to allow you to change the temperature, change the fan speed without using the infotainment display. The infotainment display up here is only about 9 inches. It gets the job done, and then you have a 10-inch display up on the dashboard. Beyond that, you have these two-tone leather seats that I think look really cool, especially with the blue color. These are heated and ventilated, and then you also have a panoramic moonroof, which is super nice to have. Acura went through the trouble of listing that there is a sunglass holder here, so it would be remiss of me to not mention it. So there is a sunglass holder. You also have a wireless charger up here, 2 USB ports, and you even have a 12 volt up there. Now, since we have the highest trim level, you also have an extra drive mode, so you're going to have that individual mode, and you can just press the individual button down here that will put on that mode for you. The only issue that I've really been having is wireless Apple CarPlay. For some reason, it just hasn't been connecting. When I was doing some research on it, it seems other people have had a similar issue. Whether that's a problem with the infotainment display or wireless Apple CarPlay, you can definitely bypass it by just using Bluetooth or by using a cable, but it has been kind of an issue. It's kind of made me set up the phone with Apple CarPlay every time I get in the car instead of just automatically connecting. But really, once you figure it out, or if you want to use a cord, because the cord is kind of superior anyway, that hasn't been much of an issue. Overall, I think that the interior is really nice. Like I mentioned, it's kind of the best of both worlds. You have all the buttons that you might want paired with all of the modern features that you're looking for in a 2025 vehicle. The backseat of the ADX is fairly basic, but it gets the job done. You have 3 seats back here. You have 2 extra cup holders that are kind of small, but they work. You have 2 USB plugs, and then you have your air conditioning vents so you stay cool, but you also have access to the panoramic moonroof that we talked about, which lets some light in and just kind of makes the cabin feel bigger. I really like all of the aggressive shapes that we have on the back end of the ADX, like on the rear spoiler up here. You can see that it's got a nice shape. We also have these LED taillights that have another cool shape, and they kind of follow the A-spec badge that you have back here. We also get a power liftgate, which is always nice to have, especially if you have your arms full. And then back here we have a 12 volt, another 12 volt plug, which is always convenient. We have 24 cubic feet of space just in the cargo area alone. But if you fold that rear seat down, you have the 60/40 folding option. That's gonna increase it to 55 cubic feet of space, which is honestly astonishing for a car that is kind of small like this. So you get a ton of usable space, and that really just adds to the value of everything that the ADX has to offer. We've talked about the interior and the exterior, so the only thing left to do is take the ADX for a drive. And off we go. Goodbye. We'll go from 0 to 60 and listen for the sounds that are coming from the front of the car. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That was to 60. That was long. Very loud, very slow. But I do want to play with the driver assistance features, because this comes with Acura Watch, which is your standard safety suite of driver assistance systems that is going to cover pretty much everything, which is nice because it comes on all 3 trim levels. It's standard across the board. You don't have to add a bunch of packages. And because of that, this has an IIHS Top Safety Pick Award, and then it has a 5-star safety rating from the NHTSA. So both of those things are super important if you're considering this vehicle for like a family vehicle or for an anyday vehicle, because those tests get harder every year, and automakers can't just rely on like, last year we had a safe vehicle, so we're gonna get it again. That is not how it works. So that means Acura's systems and headlights and passenger protection are top notch for this year in this vehicle. And I think that that is super important. So one thing to consider. This isn't gonna do much right now because there's like no traffic in front of us, but it is keeping us in the lane. I have it set to 43 miles an hour, and it is showing us that the speed limit is 45 miles an hour. So it does show me that there is a car that just drove by me on my right, which is nice, and it's actually a little car, it's not just a box. Let's see how it does on this turn. This curve, I should say. That was pretty good. Still kept us in the middle of the lane. I do like the sound of the blinker. What do you think? Beyond that, the ADX has a nice ride. It is comfortable, and it does ride on the same platform as the Honda HR-V. They're kind of similar in size. I believe the ADX is a few inches longer, but this is basically like the fancy version of the HR-V, which is totally fine if that's what you are looking for. But the steering is pretty good for what it is. I'm not mad at it. We do have a heated steering wheel over here, and it's leather, I think. Don't hold me to it. If it's not leather, please don't come at me in the comments. Just me making a U-turn. It does have a good turn radius. I will give it that. I do find Acura's systems work well, and I am impressed by them. I think that the ADX has a nice ride. The suspension soaks up bumps and feels pretty good. Like, I don't feel like there's a ton of body roll there. For a lower end luxury SUV, I think that it does a good job. I enjoy actually being like on the road with it. And I think that having all of those systems be standard across the board is nice and says a lot about what kind of product Acura is putting on the market, because it really bothers me when automakers lock important safety systems behind like higher trim levels or expensive packages. That drives me crazy. I think everyone should have access to the same like life-saving technology, basically. Well, I guess that concludes our driving situation. So I would definitely give the ADX a high score for our drive. The 0 to 60, maybe not quite as high, but that's okay. Honestly, if you're buying the ADX, do you even care that it has a slow 0 to 60 time? The only time you're really going to use that is for getting up to speed on the highway. And like, you can make that happen. Just step on it and put it in sport mode. It's fine. After a week with the ADX, I've come to the conclusion that it's kind of the total package. You have high safety scores and that long list of standard safety features, which is so important to have these days. Plus, you have a comfortable interior, a spacious second row, and tons of room in the cargo area. On top of that, the exterior just looks good. I think that Acura's done a great job of packing a lot of features and a lot of value into this $44,000 SUV. And if you're looking for something this size, I think it's worth a drive. While you're here on the channel, feel free to check out some of our other reviews, like and subscribe, and at the end of the day, give the ADX a chance. My name is Amanda Klein. This is the Acura ADX. Thank you guys for watching. I wonder if other people can see me right now.